Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 video where today we're going to be checking out the 4-4-1-1 formation. Now this formation in particular was last year in FIFA 21. This was one of my favorite formations. I actually came across this formation last year when I was playing a lot of draft, especially towards sort of the team of the year, around about now. And I came across this formation and it was one of my favorites, and I've started using it again recently. Now I haven't been playing a super lot of gameplay because obviously a lot of people have been grinding the menus, trying to make coins all throughout team of the year. But I haven't been playing a super amount of gameplay, but I've still been playing some, wanting to test out a few different things. And this 4-4-1 formation is super good and I really enjoy playing it. I think it really suits my style. If you're someone who likes to play good tiki-taka football, lots of possession, lots of quick passing, this formation will suit you very, very well. And on top of that, it is a very tough formation to break down when you are not in possession. Now, without further ado, going into the tactics, these are the tactics that I have settled on so far for the 4-4-1-1. I've gone for pressure on heavy touch. This works very, very well in this formation. The 4-4-2, I think, is the best pressing formation in this game. And I think it's because of that four in midfield, the two centre mids in the left and the right mid. It's just a very rigid formation. There's not a lot of space except for sort of behind the back four, behind the four midfielders. You know, if somebody's got a cam, he can drift around in that space. But in general, it's a very tough formation to kind of play through. And this 4-4-1-1 is very, very similar. Obviously, it's got the back four and it's got the flat four in midfield. So playing on a press offensively is very, very good because it is difficult to play through that press. And it's also difficult to play round the press because you have width with obviously the left and right mids, the left and right fullbacks. It's very, very tough to play against the press. So I went for heavy touch. I didn't decide to stick to possession loss. This is something that if you're playing lower quality opposition, this will work very well. If you're playing higher quality opposition, playing on press after possession loss won't work too well. So I decided to stick for pressure on heavy touch just to press in certain scenarios. In terms of the width, we've gone for 45. In terms of the depth, I went for around about 60. As we said, when you're using a press, you do have to play a slightly higher depth. But I didn't like 70. I thought for me, just in this formation, it didn't quite work. So I settled on around about 60. That gave me a good balance from being able to press and be on the front foot and get the benefits of that, but also still not leave it too open defensively. Obviously, we don't have like a DM to be able to sort of cover and mop up any gaps. So it's important not to be too aggro with this formation because you don't have that DM to kind of bail you out or that extra centre back like you would in a 5-back. So you do have to be a little bit smarter with the depth. You can't go too crazy. In terms of the build-up play, I went for slow build-up on the offensive build-up play. Now, fast build-up does work in this formation. It was obviously quite effective. I just, for the way I like to play FIFA, slow build-up suits me more. But if you are someone who likes to play quicker, fast build-up does work very, very well for this formation. But I personally, for me, and like I said, for my play style, slow build-up, I like to work a lot better. I like to be a bit more methodical with the way I play. I like to obviously pass the ball a lot more, have a lot more possession, dictate the play, and you know, we can play the game at my speed, not the speed that my opponent wants to play. I make sure that I dictate the game and it goes the way I want it to go. So the slow build-up suits me really, really well. And obviously, if somebody wants to press, we've obviously got the players and the instructions and the tactics to be able to play over anybody's press. So it is a very good tactic, the slow build up. In terms of chance creation, I went for direct passing just because it does give you obviously it does what it says on the tin. It's the direct passing. Your players make good runs in behind. And it's one of the only ways to get sort of the wide players involved. The only negative to this is obviously it does push your midfielders quite high. It does push obviously the two midfielders you've got, so it pushes them forward. But when you're obviously trying to play a little bit more on the front foot, obviously those midfielders are centre midfielders anyway, so they are going to push forward and get forward no matter what. So we may as well have them getting forward and scoring goals and getting chances. Now, with that being said, I was using Vieira and Kante as my midfielders, who are not the ideal midfielders. You really want sort of box-to-box type midfielders in here. So any sort of box-to-box mids that you may have will be perfect in here. Obviously, if you get like a Jorginho or a Kante team of the year, they're just going to be amazing in here anyway because they're going to have juiced up sort of attacking stats. You obviously need to have guys that can finish more importantly. So really, if you got guys that have like a full-star weak foot and guys that obviously can finish, you know, but the passing, the dribbling is more of an important stat, but you just need to make sure that you do have guys that can shoot. Sometimes we got in there with Kante and Vieira and obviously they can't shoot. So it kind of did lead to us not scoring as many goals as we potentially could have In terms of offensive width, we've gone for around about 70, just to make sure that we do maintain that width. Obviously, when we're pressing, we want to make sure that the left and right mids do stay attached to the fullback, so that obviously your opponent doesn't have an easy pass out. So you need to make sure you still got that width, but not too wide, because the wide players do need to get involved, not necessarily in scoring goals, but they need to get involved in the build-up of the attack, and also just getting forward and being a nuisance, not necessarily scoring too many goals, because obviously of their position, their starting position. In terms of players in the box, gone for around about 6, just to make sure those left and right mids do get there, and obviously the midfielders too. 3 for corners and 1 for free kicks. And then in terms of the instructions, obviously we've got Cantona and Ronaldo, kind of the striker and the centre forward. Both want to be on stay central, and both want to be on get in behind. Now, if you do want to, you can leave obviously these two on stay forward if you please. For me, I don't like that. I think when we're pressing, I do want the team to press from a deeper position and push up, not just have them there. Also, they can become a little bit disconnected when you're attacking. You can sometimes have to force the ball up to them, and can lead to you getting a lot of interceptions. So I'd recommend having them just on the balance. But obviously to stay central and getting behind, obviously you want them staying in the middle. You want the left and right mids, in this case Pulisic and Messi, to be providing the width, and those guys need to stay in the middle of the box. In terms of the two mids, as we alluded to before, Vieira and Kante are not the ideal midfielders, so I'd recommend obviously the box-to-box type mids if you've got them, but because they will be playing on balanced attack, and that is because we are playing the direct passing, so there's no point in having them on stay back, because they're going to get out of position anyway, so you may as well leave them on balanced. However, I do want to leave them on stay on edge of the box to make sure that they're not actually getting into the box, especially when we're sort of getting down the byline. I really want Pulisic, Messi and Ronaldo, and Cantona to be the only players doing that. I don't want Vieira and Kante getting in the box, because then it's going to lead to some easy counterattacks for my opposition. In terms of those wide players, Pulisic and Messi, you can see we've got them on balanced defensive support. We've got them on balanced width as well. I don't want them on stay wide. I don't want them to get stuck out there, but I don't want them to cut inside, because I need the width, obviously, when you're playing on a press. But you do need them on getting behind, and you do need them on getting to the box. So obviously they're getting into the box, potentially scoring goals, as we alluded to before. And obviously if they're quick, which they should be because they're wide players, you obviously need them on getting behind as well. And then in terms of the defense, of course, the whole defense wants to be on stay back while attacking, as we alluded to before. Because of the direct passing, it means that front 6 is going to get forward. So more importantly, more than ever, you need the back 4 to stay solid. You can't afford your fullbacks to be getting out of position. You can't really afford them to go forward. Also, when you have left and right mids, generally my rule of thumb is you don't need them to go forwards, because the left and right mids are going to provide the width. So those two things in combination means that the back 4 absolutely definitely needs to be on stay back while attacking. There's kind of no questions asked about that. And then obviously the goalkeeper comes to crosses and sweeper keeper. So that is it for the 4-4-1-1 formation. I really like this formation. It really suits the way I like to play. Like I said, if you're someone that likes to play tiki-taka, a lot of possession, play quick, this is a brilliant formation for you. And it's also a great formation to press in. So there's a lot of positives with this formation. Tough to break down as well when you're out of position. So there's really not too many negatives, too many obvious negatives with this formation. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. So I definitely recommend this one. If you do enjoy this formation, let me know how these tactics went for you. Do drop a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.